Hey, writers. One of the things I end up talking to clients about quite often is the concept of being afraid and overcoming fear and uncertainty in their work. Writers are often afraid that they will sound foolish or not do as great of a job as they're truly capable of, or they'll be afraid that one way or another their project will fail. And at times that fear can be debilitating. It can show up in the form of procrastination, rescheduling, shiny new object. That being shiny new object to me is like, oh, I have this other project, so I'm going to put the book or the screenplay or the speech or the thing or the other thing on hold. And there's really a few ways around fear and uncertainty, or through fear and uncertainty. One of those ways is steeling yourself, steeling, steeling yourself for the battle that it's going to be against yourself to finish your own creative work, especially if you're a new writer. That can be a surprise that you are not expecting. But also I see it in people who write and speak and who have written and spoken for a living for years and years. So none of us are immune to it, self included. And I've been a writer for 20 years, and it still tackles me sometimes at the most inopportune moments and when I'm least expecting it. And every time I feel like I say, I can't believe I still feel this way. I can't believe I'm still feel like afraid or nervous, or like I'm riding a roller coaster when I'm putting a new piece of work out or a new draft out. So it gets the best of us. And I think the ways around it, there are three major components for dealing with fear and uncertainty, and maybe more than that, but I'll go through my three first. So I think number one is craft and having certainty in your craft. Number two is certainty and confidence that you are doing the best job that you can do. And so whether that means assembling a team of experts or volunteers, or your writers group or your accountability groups, or friends and family who pump you up, all of those things can contribute to you feeling confident about your craft. Second is planning. Is having a rock solid plan, so that when fear and uncertainty come in there, you know the exact steps that you need to take to cross the finish line with your next draft. Planning, in my opinion, is absolutely key. And then maybe the third thing I would say is inspiration. Keeping yourself inspired. Inspiration goes hand in hand with mindset. So it's not just being inspired and, like channeling your chapters or your scenes or your pages like we all wish we could do. But knowing your rituals and practices that make you perform steadily on a regular basis can have such a huge impact on your work. And another thing that I actually really love, and full disclosure, I was the developmental editor on this project. It is my sister Jill Pater's amazing book, Getting Ahead, The Creative's Guide to Staying Inspired and Doing the Work You Love. Her very first chapter, chapter 1, is Living with Fear and Uncertainty, and as she calls it, the ultimate FU. That is actually the title. That is actually the title name. This might be one of my favorite chapters that I've ever gotten to work on in my whole career. I feel like this chapter should be like ripped out and put in all of our nightstands if you are a person doing any kind of creative work whatsoever. This chapter is just great, and it just feels like your BFF is just really giving it to you like it is. So, living with fear and uncertainty, the ultimate FU. And so I have worked with hundreds of writers over the years, and I see what makes a difference between a writer who finishes a project and a writer who abandons ship. And oftentimes it is those things. It is practicing the craft. It is having a rock solid game plan, a badass game plan, and it is managing your mindset and inspiration. And so if you can do that, those things will help you keep from being derailed. And also those are the things that we will be covering, not only covering, but we will be living and practicing them for 4 solid days at the Island Writers Retreat here in Cabarete. So hope you will find the tools that you need to make the process work for yourself. If you have any questions, feel free to hop on and leave them here. I'd be happy to answer them or to direct you to resources. Very best wishes in your writing.